of Crystal's favorite songs, so everyone's welcome to join in and get down.
Everyone should dance.
Hey.
Way up there where the rain is reflecting light and the salmon fly, there's a land that we've heard of again and again in our mother's song. Way up there where the rain is reflecting light, Yochgetzi, grandfather of us all, raven is flying. I will do the same. This night, I'll send up a prayer and wake up where the clouds are far behind. Where it is eternal spring, way up on Denali is where you'll find me. Anichon egila ev agilek itzen anichon egila eich yochgetzi genoyes yochgetzi etotas genoyes see it veichot dist on Yochgetzi yetotes genoyes see it they yehud dist on hui.
And it is a privilege to be here to do a land acknowledgement, especially on this special occasion. This young lady here, she had a dream. and she made it work. She made it work. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So I'll give it a try and saying it in Tlingit. I don't speak Tlingit, and Kwani. That's as close as I can get. So it was good to see this beautiful plane, this with the design on it, onto Auk territory, which is all of Juneau and Douglas, Berners Bay, all the way down to end of Seymour Canal. And I'm quite honored to be here. And if I was Crystal's mother, I'd be very, very proud.
This has been a very emotional but exciting week. It started, I think, for us Tuesday night when we got to stand out near the runway and watch this beautiful plane that had flown from Amarillo, Texas, where it was painted and it landed in Anchorage. And it was a kind of a cloudy night, so it was actually very dramatic with the dark clouds above. And then out of the dark clouds came this beautiful image. And I stood out and I texted Crystal and I said, "Your plane is home." And I asked her, said, "Stay off social media because I know there are people standing on the flight line taking pictures and I don't want to ruin the surprise for you." And then the next night, or next afternoon, which would have been Wednesday, Crystal and her partner Stuart came just for their own private moment. And we asked poor Crystal to walk a long way across that hangar with her eyes closed. Thank goodness she trusted us. And we positioned her, we turned the lights off, and then we asked her to open her eyes and we turned the lights on and she was facing her airplane and her art. And I wish you could have seen, I was watching from her back, but her body literally froze as she took it all in. And it was a moment that I'm just very blessed that I got to share from afar watching. She had a lot of cameras around her and she's gotten very used to that and she's really good at it. But I think for her, it was her moment to walk around the plane, to touch the Formline art. At one point, she laid under the plane so she could see how her art connected. And so I want to share that with all of you who weren't there. And then for those of you who weren't there last night, this beautiful celebration the whole celebration was designed to celebrate Crystal and to celebrate her family, because family is very important. I've learned that, and I want to thank all of you, Mom, Dad, Dawn, aunties, uncles, grandmas, of letting some of us into your family over the last couple of days. You know, my mom and dad are gone, but I thought of them yesterday, all day, because I thought how proud they would be to be part of something like this. So thank you for letting us be part of your family. And it was all about all of you. And I hope that we've continued that through the morning. There's something very special to see it in a hangar. Many of you told me you'd never been that close to an airplane. But then this morning, when you see what the plane's purpose is, very seldom does an artist get to say, most of the time we have to go to see art. We have to go to a museum. But this time this art is designed to travel all over the country, to travel as far as Costa Rica or Belize or LA or Hawaii or DC and share the story. We knew we were going to have a blank canvas. We knew this airplane was going to need paint. And about the same time, a magazine was put on my desk, and on the cover was Crystal Worl. And the story talked about her love of monumental art, big art. And I thought, I'm going to ask if maybe we could do something different and special with this airplane. And the answer was absolutely, if you know an artist. And I said, I don't know her, but I'm going to get to know her. And the funny story is it took forever for us to connect because she was off the grid at the time. And I thought maybe she didn't want to talk. And I didn't tell her on the voicemail why I wanted to talk to her. When we finally connected, what I didn't know at the time is that she had posted a picture, a drawing of an Alaska Airlines plane on Instagram. I do not follow Instagram. I had never seen that. So she says to me, "Oh, I bet you're calling about this post I made. And I said, I know nothing about that. And I said, what did it say? And she said, it was a post, me teasing Alaska Airlines that I would love to paint an Alaska Airlines plane. So she said, well, if that's not why are you calling? I said, well, kind of wanted to know if you'd like to paint an Alaska Airlines plane. And so I always share that story because it's so special to me, because it was a special moment where I thought people are brought together at certain points in their lives for a purpose. And that was our moment that we were going to make. And I hung up the phone. I thought, this is bigger than painting an airplane. This is a dream come true. This is a language that's going to travel. This is culture. This is history. This is people that we're going to be able to share stories because of Crystal, because of her family.
The greatest thing a mother, a father could have are children and then grandchildren. And I've been very, very fortunate in having beautiful children and beautiful grandchildren that I think are following in the ways of their ancestors and ensuring that our culture is going to continue another 12,000, 14,000, 15,000. Guys, you know, the new scientific data is now showing that we've been here. We don't have the direct evidence to 17,000 years, but we have the direct evidence, tangible evidence for 12,000 years. And so we have to make sure that we take care of this world and take care of our culture so that our children, our grandchildren, and those yet to come are going to have a safe world, a healthy world in which to live. But what I'd like to do right now is really to thank Alaska Airlines. I want to thank them for bringing our culture out into the open. I want to thank Alaska Airlines for bringing our art out into the open. I want to thank Alaska Airlines for bringing our language that previous generations had tried to suppress. I want to thank Alaska Airlines. This is the way we are as Alaska Native people. This is the way we are as Alaskans, where we come together in moments like this to celebrate a wonderful thing that has happened to us as a people. I know that a lot of us are going to be thinking about this day, remembering this day. And so we thank you, Alaska Airlines, and we thank Crystal Worl, Kakia, for representing us as Alaska Native people. Thank you for all that you have done to bring our ancestors into this world so that our people can see the works of our ancestors. As David Katzik says, it comes from within. It comes from our ancestors, this great art that we have as Alaska Native people.
At thinking of cheese away to cut Johan, Kunachoe we ak kwan, ya akani yen wushki tan. Achunki yen yachte tan. Wasa hatu yaki ani ka aya atut ech, hayuk atuta at. Ya hachunki yen, ya tsutskan. Gonna cheese and oix newsome away. Yet she. Wasa hatu yaki ayaki to cut Johan. Sakutin aya wush kanahutu da ati yank. We yisyan de kenyako we to satin. Ya tarke dat you took the tanchu ya. Hawaki tunach aya ya hasyan de kun. Ya hashif kohas. Ach tu yek e konach aya. Kakia kedena ya kaishihit. Konachawe yek e. Gonna cheese away to cut Johan. Take the heen washed down cut aya kuchwatin. Kutasakawa kikaya ach atra adi. Jade ye haskhau ya yidat khoa. Gonna cheese. Ya yi kwasha tu. Ade awe yuk etan. Ya khat kwani. Khat kwani aya takhona khawik atutlitsini at. Ha eat hasu de shi takhonach. Gonna cheese. It's such an honor to have this happening on the land of the Ak Kwan peoples, the Wushkitan and the Yachtetan, who are such incredible hosts to us to allow us to do so many things on their land and to feel welcome I always feel welcome in this place. We are from Tlingit, just a little bit north of here, whichever way north is, that way. And it's such a wonderful thing. I was thinking, I'm so thankful for the Tsimshian peoples for singing us in, for all these opportunities that we have to see the images of the way our ancestors would create things, and to see what's happening today is just a true joy. I see our art coming back in such strong ways. I see our language coming back in such strong ways. To have children teaching us how to say words. So to see this, it's like we were in the hangar and I was just thinking, it's like I can see our ancestors peeking through the windows, saying, my grandchildren, what amazing things you're doing. So one time I flew to Boston and Alaska Airlines lost my baggage. But I want to be on the record that I've forgiven them. It is forgiven now. We'll never talk about it again. I said it in Tlingit too. It was really funny in Tlingit. The Shukachari would still like her MVP gold status. Okay. So now we're going to learn how to say Chat Kwani. It's a sacred word. It's a sacred statement. So I was asked how you might translate salmon 30 salmon, which is the name of the other plane. I have a hard time saying that. I always want to say 7 for one of those words. But it's a very clever name. And I said, that's a very clever name. But a pun is not going to translate into Tlingit. You're going to have Chat, Naschen Kat Chat. I said, that's not going to be funny. It's not going to be clever. I said, but what if we did something that was important to us? What if we did something that was sacred? From time immemorial, we have lived with these salmon. They sustain us. They allow us to survive. So we watch carefully over the land and the water to return the favor of life. So there's 2 words. Both of them, you're going to have to go to the back of your throat. No big deal. No big deal. I was making the sound all night last night. It goes. Everybody go. That's that first sound. You can't get away from it. There's no running away now. It's such a wonderful thing to have people speaking indigenous languages in indigenous places because they're all indigenous places. So the first word, it has a long high vowel, and then it ends with a T. So the first word is chat, 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 chat. That's the first word. Second word, another back sound. It's like a K, but you make it in the back of your throat. Okay? Kwa, 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 kwa. Then another long high vowel. It's an A vowel with an N. And then an I at the end. Kwani. 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 So the first word, chat, is a fish. I used to always say this is a salmon. It's a fish, but we'll always think of a salmon. Then I went and taught Tlingit in Tessa, and they said, no, that's a trout. I thought, maybe this is the salmon trout head thing that we talk about in Northwest Coast arts. So it's a fish. Chat is a fish. Coastal Tlingit, we'll think of it as a salmon. That's just what's going to pop into our mind. Like if you said tree, you'll think of a tree from the place probably where you grew up. The second word is Kwan, which means the ancestral people of a place. So Ak Kwan are the ancestral people of the little lake. This is their ancestral home. I could live here until I'm 90 years old and I would not be Ak Kwan. I'd be Tlingit Kwan. Because you're born into that or you're brought into that. And it's a sacred connection. And another sacred connection is when we put this little suffix on the end, Kwani. That means we're talking to the spirit of a thing that's non-human. As Kwani, the spirit of the trees. Kushta Kwani, the spirit of the land otters. And in this case, Chat Kwani, the spirit of the salmon. So we'll say the whole thing. Chat kwani. Chat kwani. Chat kwani. Chat kwani.
Ka kia yuchat duasak, yech ayachat lukahadi nachatsiti, athna dakahidi yechet, shanguchedi yadi ayachat, gonana nachatsiti. My Tlingit name is Ka Kia. My Degaton name is Chashred. I'm Tlingit, Athabascan, and Filipino. I'm from the Tlukahadi, Salmon Sockeye clan, and Raven Moiety. And my father's side is from Klukwan, Kwan, and my mother's side is from Holy Cross. And I grew up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I live here in Juneau, Alaska. I have high hopes that this project will encourage people to embrace Indigenous cultures and values. We have much to learn about this planet and its inhabitants, including ourselves. The salmon are incredibly intelligent beings. They navigate long distances to return home so that they can spawn and provide for their offspring. Their bodies deliver nutrients to the next generation. They deliver nitrogen from deep waters to our land, which has allowed the Tongass rainforest to become lush and its wildlife to grow big and strong. The salmon have been feeding and teaching us for a long time. It's significant that we see and hear them now more than ever. My grandpa Rudy Dementif would bring his whole family to fish camp every summer. The fish camp was between Galena and Ruby. He would get up early with his sons and check the fish wheel. He built his own fish trap and fish wheels. Him and my uncles would come back with over 100 fish, and my aunties would all cut fish in a processing line. The youngest would scale the white fish with a butter knife. The middle kids would cut the head off and gut the salmon. The oldest would fillet, and the parents would cut into strips to smoke. My grandmother, Alice Dementif, had 10 kids, a lot of mouths to feed. While at fish camp, they would eat fish every day. My grandma could prepare a salmon in over 100 different ways so that no one would get tired of eating fish every day. The family favorite was salmon patties made from salmon and mashed potatoes, mixed together and fried. It is with a heavy heart we haven't been able to fish on the Yukon or the Kuskokwim for 3 years due to the lack of fish returning. We won't be able to harvest again until the numbers get better. And the younger generations are not able to learn these fishing and preserving skills that have survived for generations. We must make change in our actions and thinking about the environment. This is the time to get creative with our solutions. I want you to imagine a triangle. One corner being Indigenous knowledge, the opposite corner, modern day science. And the third corner is where the two meet. Scientifically, there is a lot to be studied and discovered about salmon. Historically, we have coexisted with salmon for hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of years. Culturally, we are capable of putting our minds together. I grew up in two worlds, the traditional world and the modern world. This has allowed me to be rooted and expansive with my art at the same time. My ancestors have always been resilient innovators, and we are innovating today with modern technology. I'm grateful for my uncles and my cousins who taught me to fish and hunt, my moms, my grandmas, my aunties, who stood up and took opportunity to succeed when it wasn't easy. I'm grateful for my upbringing in Alaska, my education, my mentorship with Robert Davidson, my passion to travel, and starting a small family-owned business called Trickster Company. These are all things that have taught me the sky is the limit, so why not put art up there too? As people of the tide, Tlingit people, and Alaska Native people, we don't differentiate ourselves from animals. We're one of the same. Salmon, can we ask you to give us strength, teach us to be better caretakers of our land, and remind us to return home like you do. I want to congratulate my mom, Beverly Dementif. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. She worked for Alaska Airlines in the past and was a co-founder of the Native Employee Network NEN program at Alaska Airlines. And I also want to congratulate my grandmother, Rosita Worl, who's working on her 2 millionth mile. I want to say Grunlas Cheesh to the Aquan people for allowing us to be here and having us feel welcomed, feeling very welcomed here. Grunlas Cheesh. I want to thank Rene Lance Twitchell for helping me name the plane and come up with a translation and being with me on this journey. Grunlas Cheesh. And last but not least, I want to thank Alaska Airlines and specifically Marilyn Romano. Thank you. Buenos Cheesh, Anabasi, Dogaden. Thank you so much for everything.